All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Tonight, we're back here talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers. As you guys know, I see a double-digit win total. I see a playoff berth, possibly some playoff wins for the Steelers team. But with camp beginning a couple of days ago, there's one thing that's becoming more and more clear to me, and it's just how versatile this Pittsburgh Steelers team is. I loved their free agency. I loved their draft. I loved their offseason in general, but they had so much talent on their roster already, right? We take a look at last season. Kenny Pickett in preseason was the better quarterback. However, they still deploy Mitch. So you have Mitch, you have a shaky offensive line, and the offense just didn't look good, right? So eventually you turn to Kenny Pickett. He just kind of gets thrown on out there, and he starts off, a little bit shaky. Some mistakes, some rookie mistakes, as expected for a quarterback who's just thrown out there, right? But they finished the season 9-8. They finish on a beautiful winning streak. The defense was excellent in the final month of the season. The offense, while it wasn't perfect, it was pretty at times. There were a lot of close games, a lot of game-winning drives led by Mr. Kenny Pickett, but they were young, and they were also very injured. And so I take a look at a lot of these free agent acquisitions, specifically on the defensive side, but also offensively, mainly the offensive line. I also love the addition of Allen Robinson. But when guys get injured, you just become less versatile, and you can't be as creative as you would like to be, right? Say TJ Watt, for example, gets injured like he did last year. Well, now his backup, I need him to, rather than excel in one or two skill sets, I need him to basically just fill in for TJ Watt. And, TJ Watt might not be the best example because he's a superstar stud, and it would be basically impossible to replicate that for like a second stringer. But you get the point. Like, you run out of options, right? And you kind of need guys to really fill in the gaps, really fill in the holes with the injuries you've sustained. So that's what we're going to talk about in tonight's video. But before we do, if you guys enjoy it, be sure to hit that like button, hit that sub button. You guys absolutely blessed my last Steelers video. I thank you so much. We hit like almost 700 likes. We're going to shoot for the stars here. I just turned 24. I'm feeling pretty good. Try and get 1,000 likes on tonight's video. Steelers fans, you guys are literally awesome. But one thing that's really stood out to me with the Steelers fans is how knowledgeable you guys are, not only about the game, but your team especially, right? So defensively, there are so many moves that I really loved. A lot of these guys are just players who have been in the league, maybe on a rookie contract, maybe they've been on a team or two, but they've really done a good job. Guys like Landon Roberts and Cole Holcomb, the new two linebackers coming in. Now, Cole's season last year was cut in half due to injury, but he had 150 tackles the year before. Landon Roberts had over 100 tackles this past season. He can force fumbles. He can get interceptions. He can do a little bit of everything. You're seeing that versatility. And then you still have guys like Alex Highsmith and TJ Watt as well. Going back to the original statement of there was already so much existing talent on this Steelers team, a great example is Alex Highsmith. Most people outside of Steelers fans have no clue, not even the slightest clue who Alex Highsmith is. 14 and a half sacks last year, 5 forced fumbles. He had truly, in his third year, a breakout into stardom, right? Their linebacker unit looks really, really deep to me, really deep. And their defensive line also is very deep as well. Larry Ogunjobi, Cameron Hayward, but new addition, Keanu Benton. Last year at Wisconsin, he had 10 total tackles for loss and 4.5 sacks. We can also look at new addition, Nick Herbig, also from Wisconsin. He had 15.5 tackles for loss. He also had 11 sacks last season. These guys are getting from the draft in the they did get guys in the first and second round who are going to help them out immediately. But this is what I'm talking about. They're filling out their roster with more studs. Keanu Benton and Nick Herbig had very good, successful collegiate careers. I don't know why they fell as deep as they did, but now they're both on the Pittsburgh Steelers, who already had a top 10 defense without your star defensive player in TJ Watt. He had 22.5 sacks 2 years ago. So when you're without both sides of the football, actually in every single sport, when you're missing your star player, typically your going to struggle. The Steelers defense, with all the injuries that they sustained, specifically to TJ Watt, they still finished with a top 10 defense. They still finished with the 10th best defense in the National Football League. And they only filled it out with more guys, whether it's existing veterans, guys like Cole Holmcomb, Landon Roberts, or new rookies like Keanu Benton and Nick Herbig, right? You also picked up Patrick Peterson. One of the reasons I love Patrick Peterson is his versatility. This guy can line up on the slot. He can line up on the outside. He's been around the league for several seasons. He's a Pro Bowler. He has that veteran leadership both on and off the field. And you're going to see dividends with guys like Joey Porter Jr. Joey Porter Jr. selected with the first pick in the second round, essentially a first-round draft pick. Joey Porter Jr., already a fan favorite, just filling out the roster, man. Filling it out with studs. So I look at their defense, Fitzpatrick, Peterson, Joey Porter. I look at the linebacker unit, the defensive line. They're on paper, it's ridiculously talented. But even when we get into the nitty gritty of things, and we start looking at depth pieces, whether they were already existing on the roster from last season or, sneaky free agent additions or draft picks, even if it's in the later rounds, these are guys who are ready to compete, and they're ready to compete right away. Versatility on the offensive side. We mentioned at the beginning of the video how bad the offensive line was to start off the season. So what did they do? They tweaked it. They completely retooled it. You bring in a first-round draft pick, a day-one starter at left tackle, and Broderick Jones. You also get Super Bowl experience player in Isaac Seumalo. Every single Eagles fan was pissed off about that. You picked up through free agency Nate Herbig. You pick up Allen Robinson. You draft Darnell Washington. You have a two-headed monster, both physically and receiving and rushing-wise, in Najee Harris and Jaylen Warren. The Steelers, man, are really, really, really good. And if we have, even if Kenny Pickett, for some reason, let's play, devil's advocate here. Let's say Kenny Pickett doesn't even progress from the second half of last season. They're still making the playoffs because Kenny Pickett in the second half of the season was a good quarterback. You can get to the playoffs as they almost did. We've said it time and time again on this channel. If Kenny Pickett started the season for the Steelers, I guarantee you they would have made the playoffs. I guarantee you. So, thankfully, I'm a Packers fan. I don't have to really worry about the Steelers because we're not going to be sniffing the Super Bowl anytime soon. The Steelers are built up for short-term success, and they're built up for long-term success, and they're going to be a rising giant before you know it. Now, I know a lot of this is contingent on Kenny Pickett, and we didn't even mention Matt Canada's name by design in today's video. Hopefully, he can become versatile. Hopefully, he can get creative with all these new weapons on the offensive side. It truly is do or die for Matt Canada. But at the end of the day, your head coach is still Mike Tomlin, and you're going to be a good team, right? You're going to be well-led. You're going to be well-coached, and there's plenty of talent on this roster. Watch out, NFL. So that's it for today. If you guys enjoyed it, be sure to hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content. I'm posting a couple of Steelers videos every week right now because you guys are blessing them. So I appreciate you guys so much. Seriously means the world to me. And I'll see you guys later.